On this channel, we dive deep into the truth of who we really are. And on my journey, I am here to awaken many souls one video at a time.
It changed my life. And sometimes I forget how really unique my experience was.
The reason I did decide I would do this is when I realized that it was videos like this that were the only thing that I had back then to make me understand what was going on, because nobody that I know, even now, nobody I know believes this stuff.
I didn't know it was my physical body. All I know was I was out of my body, and the only reason I knew I was out of my body, and I didn't even know it was my body at the time, was that I was looking down at this blob on the ground. It was this human vessel, this human body, and I call it a vessel now as I'm more mindful of the fact that our soul can go backwards and forwards and the human being is a vessel. But I didn't know at the time, it was myself laying on the ground.
I had this sepsis poisoning, and when I first died, I was on the ceiling. I was looking down from the ceiling, and I was thinking, I was kind of laissez-faire about it. I thought, I must be dead,
But my mother later told me that I was saying, everything's fine, everything's going to be okay, it's all fine, Jesus is here.
Then it was like my spirit just peeled up out of me, came right out of myself, like peeling a banana. And then I didn't know I was dead. I knew that something had happened. I knew that I was hit by lightning, but I didn't know I was dead.
I saw my husband, Don, and the two boys, Chris and Mark, down below. Chris and Dusty down below.
Yeah.
And they were by what seemed to be a light stand, and they were crying, and I wanted to tell them, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm okay, nothing's wrong with me. And then I got the transmission of, well, they'll be fine, they're okay. And
well, what happened the very second that I died on that operating table, the next thing I found myself standing in the most beautiful, gorgeous building I have ever seen. It was this long corridor building made of white marble. I had no idea the hospital is so large, because what it was this building was so long I could not see the end of it. It was miles. On the right-hand side, on the right of where I was standing, there were these beautiful marble white columns. They must have been 30 feet high, and they were like every 6 feet down this corridor as far as you could see.
But it was this beautiful family gathering, and I remember I walked up and it was this reunion of souls, people I knew in this lifetime who'd already crossed over, people from lifetimes before, and I knew them, and it was like I had time to hug everybody and be like, what have you been up to? What's been going on for you since you were here? And how are you doing? And the hugs that I had on the other side were how it feels to hug a toddler when they throw themselves at you and they're just their whole being is hugging you.
See, to the left of where I was standing, all I can say is they were tunnels or doorways cut out of sheer marble. It looked like they had been cut with perfect 90-degree angles out of pure marble. And the marble was white. It was absolutely gorgeous. And they went all the way down, just like the columns did. They matched each other all the way down this corridor. In the center, there were tables, and there were 4 seats on each table. And there were 2 people sitting there, again, all the way down as far as you could see.
As I remember, it was like an oval shape. I wouldn't say building because I can't see the walls, but it felt like an oval shape of some sort, where there was many books, and there were scrolls, and there was jars and everything. And I didn't understand what that actually meant. I just remembered being there and feeling that I'm here for a reason. I'm here to be told something. there is something I need to know. That's the overwhelming feeling that I felt. And as I'm there, I remember there were like it was really strange. There were like bookshelves and shelving, and I remember there was a being. I cannot explain them as a being because I cannot. It's hard to describe what they look like. I remember I looked at them and didn't see any feet, and they were gliding. And I remember thinking to myself, "Well, where's their feet?" And it was like as if they had like a cloak on or something. It wasn't like fashion we would wear, you know, trousers, suit, jacket, nothing. It was like a cloak they were wearing. Not godly, nothing like that, but it was just a cloak, and it was very swaying. I remember like an essence of them. It was really strange. And I remember they were pulling out things from shelves, and I remember they had a scroll they pulled out and they unraveled it and showed me. Now I've been shown many more of this because the work that I do now, Hall of Souls, I was told it was then, and I also am told I work within the whole Hall of Souls with Akashic Records, also known. And it was the scrolls of what was going on in each individual human being, and I remember it being rolled out, and I remember I was told at times, I've done some more work going back on it, that it's a blueprint of our lives.
And so we landed in this what I call the room of the blueprints, and it was this white room with a giant white boardroom table, and it was at the very edge of the universe as I would know it. Is the only way I can explain it. It was the point in which the universe was creating itself.
The outside of the building, it was a huge, gigantic circular building with a dome on top. Again, with the white marble columns all along the outside in a circle. And this building was huge. I mean, just enormous. These buildings were so large, they were like stadiums, just enormous buildings. And for some reason, whenever we plan our lifetimes, we go to this building. I don't know what it was called, but it's the building with the dome, and that's where you go with your main spirit guide to help you plan your lifetime.
And so this library, and I call it the Hall of Knowledge, but I don't know if that's really what it's called. It might be, but it had a bazillion books from the ceiling to the floor, and the beautiful rich mahogany wood held the books, and it was just fabulous. The architecture, the buildings were made out of like alabaster, this marble, and there were columns and archways, and everything was very intricate.
And I noticed that my whole council was there. Like, we all have council. We all have spirit guides, and I call it a council, whatever people want to call it, but we all have a group of beings, guardian angels, family members, whatever it may be, that are helping us in our journey.
And before I forget, I want to tell your audience that what happened is we all have spirit guides. They all help us plan our lifetimes, and they're with us during our life as we continue.
Anyway, there was this group of people that joined us, and they were from all different time periods, and everybody was young and healthy and strong. I didn't see any sick people, old people, hurting people, nothing like that. Everybody their skin was glowy, and they were just, they were young and vibrant and beautiful.
What I did see was this real awesome sight. It was like a huge waterfall of stars. It was the size of, say, Victoria Falls or Niagara Falls. It was, but instead of like millions of tons of water sort of bellowing over the edge, it was just billions of stars that were sparkling, that were just cascading over. And I just thought, wow, I'm in the universe. I'm not in a small darkened space that I originally thought I was, and that was a great feeling to know that I was part of that universe.
It's absolutely a whole other language. And I think, so I was floating there with Jesus. I knew it was Jesus. Well, to me, it was Jesus. Or it could have been God. I don't know. But to me, in my mind, it was Jesus. And that's what I kept saying. So, and when I awoke, that and had an experience when I woke up that was Jesus, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
So
I saw a huge angel, and I had never seen an angel before, only in pictures and stuff on Earth. And I looked at this angel, and his wings were just so pure. The white of them was so pure, and the feathers were just so pure and white, and it was huge wings, and he had a beautiful blonde hair, and it was wavy, and it came down kind of over his eye, I remember, and it looked almost windswept. I guess that's the only way to explain it. But he had an armor chest plate on and armor anklets like over his ankles, and he had a sword on his left-hand side. And he smiled at me, and I said, you know, Jesus, my God, that's a beautiful angel. Who is that? And he said, that's Michael. He said, that's my archangel.
It was like a large stone statue. It felt, the presence was huge. It was like 30 foot tall, so tall, this presence. And he was kneeling down. And at the time I heard, my name is Archangel Michael, and I was like, oh, no way, I'm going mad. Lack of oxygen, going crazy. And this angel, it was like he had his knee, and he was balancing his elbow on his knee, and he had his hand on his forehead. And I was like, no way. I felt like swearing. I was like, no way, no way. And I was just there, and he had his I am Archangel Michael. And I said that no way. And as I said no way, he took his hand away from his head and turned around and looked at me. And I was like, I'm really scared, as if like I'm being told off. Believing I've come, and you are not believing. I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, I had a big wake up call. So I swore again in my head. I was like, you're real. And then I just felt this feeling. I was just feeling very calm.
I had put my foot on the brake and started to slide, and my immediate decision was, no, F this. Right? Another accident, another this, another what have you. I just said F it. I took my foot off the brake. I never even picked my head up or opened my eyes. And the next day I wake up in the intensive care unit. No, you don't understand. She says, I can see the angel that saved your life with you in the car. Right, looking down, there's a lady. It was like the top of her car had a big hole in it where I could look through it, because I'm looking down at it from the sky, and she's there. I'm in the back, and that angel is halfway in between me and behind me. Like she was inside of half of my body, right? And she said that it was her. She was the one that was there. She was the one that saved me back then. And she has never not been with me my entire life. I just didn't know it.
And so they all gathered around me, and I just felt so loved and so accepted. For the first time in my entire life, I felt, well, at least my adult life, I felt truly loved, and people, they weren't judging me, and I didn't have to worry whether my hair was okay, my makeup was on, you know, because I'd been told my whole adult life that I was fat and ugly and stupid and all of these things, but I didn't feel that there.
Well, my guide told me to go look in one of these tunnels. So I walked over, I put my hand on the marble, and I could feel it. It was solid, beautiful white, and it was cool to the touch. And I looked in, and it looked like I was looking at space. There were stars and planets and galaxies. It was absolutely magical. It was beautiful.
I just looked down, and there were shooting stars kind of falling through the middle, and the more that my eyes focused, the deeper I could see into this vast sort of abyss. You know, I was looking down into infinity, and I was seeing like nebulas and colors starting to form. So that was incredibly awe-inspiring.
And I was walking up this kind of grassy hill, and the grass was just the most beautiful green grass, like picturesque grass. And I could zero in on the grass if I wanted to and see, you know, all the beads of dew or the lines in the grass.
So we're moving through deeper into this magnificent garden.
There are 3 steps down to get into what are called the gardens. And the gardens are made of beautiful, gorgeous grass and flowers and plants and trees, absolutely more beautiful than any I could ever describe. Absolutely. It was, if you could imagine flowers being perfect and trees and plants and grass, that's what this looked like.
And there was this gorgeous rolling hills, beautiful flowers and beautiful plants. Again, colors I've never seen before.
So anyway, we're walking through, my 2 brothers are with me, and this loving presence is with me, and we're walking through this garden, and I'm noticing all of these beautiful things. And then as I'm looking around, Jesus, there's a grove of trees over in the corner. Like the glorious city is right here, and then the grove of trees was sort of catty-cornered over in the corner, and he walks out of the grove of trees, and then he comes up to me. And this was my first clue that I was kind of come back, but I didn't. I mean, it just went right over my head. And he said, I love you, and I'm with you, so don't be afraid.
And so now you know the truth of who we really are, as many, many souls are coming forward to share their experiences from the other side as a message to you of hope, knowing that we never truly die. And so please, all of you watching, I urge you to like, share, and subscribe, as each video that is sent to a new person is another soul awakened to the truth of who you really are. And so welcome to the Natalie Higgins podcast, and I hope to see you again soon.